Good morning, I'm Adam Sexton. We are now just a few weeks away from the return of in-person instruction for some New Hampshire schools. While districts are developing a wide range of plans across the state, the truth is no one knows exactly what is going to happen when the mass gatherings that make up our education system resume. We recently heard from the Commissioner of Education, Frank Edelblut. Today we're speaking with Megan Tuttle from NEA New Hampshire, the statewide teachers union, and Barrett Christina from the New Hampshire School Boards Association. Thank you both for joining us. And Ms. Tuttle, let's start with you. This country asks a lot of its teachers, even when we're not in a pandemic. Are we asking too much by asking them to go back to the classroom now?
We're asking a lot right now. I'm hearing from a lot of the educators that they're fearful about going back in the classroom without certain safety measures that are put in place. They're, rewriting wills, some of them, and they're just really concerned. Safety has to be the first thing that happens, and that's got to be assured before they want to go back into the classroom for themselves and the children's. And, I think it is asking a lot at this point.
And Mr. Christina, there's a tremendous amount of pressure right now on school boards and superintendents and the administration side of things to get this right. So many questions are coming in, and it seems like there are no answers that give you 100% or get you all the way there. So how do you deal with all that risk?
I think that's a great question, Adam, and that's what our school boards and administrators are facing every day and have been working on their reentry plans for the last number of months. The challenges that we're encountering are that for every possible scenario, school boards and administrators come up with trying to keep students safe and trying to ensure a rigorous instructional model. There are no clear answers. There are no right answers. No plan is going to be 100% foolproof in terms of either keeping our students safe in the building or ensuring that we're able to maintain rigorous educational standards on remote instruction. The number of questions that school boards are facing and trying to deal with transportation issues, safety issues, addressing the stressors that are being put on parents and students, whether we're in school or out of school, are numerous, and unfortunately there aren't any great answers. So we're trying to do the best that we can. We're trying to be responsive to individual student needs and the needs of our individual communities. And so while we work through these plans, safety is always first and foremost for our students and staff, but there are no great answers, even though there are a lot of questions still remaining.
And because of how the school reopening has been designed, it's possible we're going to see as many outcomes as there are school districts in the state. Ms. Tuttle, you could have one school district where teachers have a great experience, they feel very safe going back to the classroom, and perhaps another school district where there are problems and within a few weeks or months they feel like they might want to walk out. So how do you tailor your own advocacy to those myriad realities?
So what we're doing across the state is when the guidelines came out from the governor and the commissioner, we looked at them and they weren't really guidelines, really. There was a lot of shoulds, not a lot of shalls. And so we came up with our own set of principles that we put out last week. Those principles have been shared with a lot of the superintendents I know and with a lot of the school boards. And so ours focus on really just locally making sure that what's going to work for that district is going to be the best thing for those children and those educators. There's really just minimum safety standards that we want addressed before anybody goes back. We want to make sure the HVAC systems are cleaned, maintained, upgraded if they need to be. That shouldn't be a should, that's a shall. We want to make sure that there is enough distancing, and we really want masks mandated, things like that, the minimum safety standards across the state. Now, once those are met, like Barrett said, there's tons of questions, and one district's going to be different from another district. So they have to poll the educators, poll the community, look at the students, see what's going to work best for them. In keeping, those minimum safety standards across the state of mandated masks, making sure that there's social distancing within the classrooms, on the buses, the transportation, et cetera, and also making sure the air quality is good for the children and the educators in the classrooms.
And Mr. Christina, certainly cost is going to be a huge question mark here because a lot of these districts have already set their budget right back when we were just jumping into this whole pandemic thing. What's the level of worry, though, among school boards and on the administrative side that the districts will be able to obtain the PPE they need? We've seen that this is sort of a free-for-all globally. It's a huge market and everybody's trying to find their way in. Will these school districts be able to compete?
We certainly hope so, Adam. The Commissioner of Education and the department have said that school boards are able to procure PPE on the open market, and if they're having challenges procuring the necessary equipment on the open market, that they can contact the department. I believe the department is working with certain vendors, has a list of resources to help school boards acquire masks, plexiglass, disinfectants, things of that nature to help keep our buildings clean and sanitized. The cost impact is going to be significant on school boards. School districts struggle with their budgets even in the absence of COVID, but the requirements that we need to bring our kids back into the school and keep our students and our staff safe are going to be enormous. From purchasing PPE, from purchasing plexiglass, from transportation issues. If we have to run multiple bus routes and we can't fill the buses, so the buses are only going to be a half or a quarter full. The HVAC systems could be a significant challenge cost-wise for many school districts. We know that New Hampshire has a very aged infrastructure for our school buildings, so trying to get in there and figure out what necessary repairs or equipment might need to be in order to keep the air safe and the air quality safe for our students indeed is going to be a significant challenge for our school boards. Now, there is some federal CARES Act money that breaks down to about $213 per student statewide, what each individual district is getting. And we know that certainly won't be enough to meet the equipment and technology that's going to be needed, either for an in-person instructional model or a remote instructional model. So as you mentioned, Adam, most school boards had their budgets set back in March before schools closed down and before the pandemic really took on the significant time and length that we thought it was going to. So with budgets already being set before we realized that these new requirements and new equipment and new technology and things of that nature were going to be needed for our schools, it's going to be very challenging for school districts to try and let alone find the equipment that's needed, but also finding new ways to pay for them as well.
And Ms. Tuttle, the state and education commissioner has said he doesn't want teachers to have to be responsible for in-person education and remote education at the same time. Clearly, that creates a workforce issue potentially with having to divide that up with who goes to school and who doesn't. When you factor in the self-isolation that's going to be required for any level of illness for any teacher, is there going to be enough workforce to get the job done this year in school?
Honestly, Adam, I don't know that there is. We had a substitute shortage before the pandemic hit, and I'm not sure what's going to happen now if, a teacher has to be out, if a paraeducator has to be out, if they have to shut down a school, a wing, whatever it is. I don't know where they're going to find subs. The substitute pay in the state is not where it should be, and to ask somebody to come in and substitute because somebody potentially either, got COVID-19 or is at risk of it, I don't know who's going to want to come in and substitute. So I think it's going to be a problem. With the PPE issue, and if we're going to be able to find the safety precautions that we want to wear, the masks, et cetera, that should all be provided by the state at this point. We got to a good point where we are in the state with the low numbers, but if they're asking us to open back up and to put these children, most of them, back in the classroom, the state should be providing all that. It shouldn't be put back on the local taxpayers to do that.
And Mr. Christina, it's not just staffing in the classrooms. You've touched on transportation a couple of times before. How are school boards approaching the issue of busing right now?
That's an unknown question, to be honest with you, Adam. We had, just as Megan mentioned, we had a shortage of substitute teachers in the state. The last number of years, we've had a shortage of bus drivers across the state. So school boards are looking at creative ways of either trying to double up bus runs, which has an added cost to it, asking parents if they're possible to transport their children to school and do the drop-off and the pickup for their own children. And that was certainly a factor when school boards were determining whether we were going to do in-person instruction or remote instruction. And I think the transportation issue, the lack of bus drivers, the added cost if we have to do multiple runs may be a determining factor in what school boards decide ultimately with their local plans.
Ms. Tuttle, this is a pretty dark question here, but one that I think needs to be asked. What happens if a teacher dies from COVID-19 that's contracted in the classroom?
That's a great question. We have to, deal with it as it happens. It's not something we want to think about, but at the same time, there might be students that are contracting it and passing away as well. And it's never a fun thing to have to deal with. We are looking, just if they get sick in the classroom, that they are given the same considerations that frontline workers are given. Educators are considered frontline workers when it comes to school violence and school shootings, and we're being asked to learn how to tie tourniquets around kindergartners and first graders. Yet when this happened, an executive order, I believe it was 36, came out, we weren't part of the frontline workers, and we should be considered part of the frontline workers if we're going to be in the classrooms working with children and the public coming in and out every day. day. We should be considered frontline workers and given the same consideration when it comes to workers' comp. If a teacher, educator were to pass away, that would be horrific. And, we would deal with it as we deal with everything else that happens in schools every day, but it's not something that is going to be, pleasant or anything.
And the legislature did pass a teacher death benefit, I believe, just a couple of years ago, but it only applies to incidents of violence. Do you think it's time to update that? Should the legislature readdress that for pandemic-related deaths?
I definitely think they should. I think this is a huge, huge issue. We know that we've had educators pass away in other states from it. New Hampshire has been lucky so far, but it has happened. It's a very real reality of it could be happening again come September. And I think, we should be relooking at that and adding that. This would be considered, being killed in the line of duty for something that could possibly be contracted at school. And I think this is just as important as the violence issue.
And Mr. Christina, as we wrap up here, about a minute left, what's your perspective on this? Obviously, it's a difficult thing in a school community when anyone passes away, and that's a reality we're all going to have to face this year.
Indeed. School board's first and foremost responsibility is to keep students safe and to keep staff safe. So if we have the unfortunate event where a teacher or, God forbid, a student were to contract COVID-19 at school and pass away, I think we would have to obviously significantly reconsider what our plans are for delivery of education. And one of the remaining questions is what happens if a student or a staff member gets sick at school, let alone passing away? Those are some of the unanswered questions, Adam. Do we have to close down the whole school? Do we just have to close that classroom? Who has to quarantine? What sort of tracing are we going to have to do to find out who these students or staff were involved with? But we certainly hope that it doesn't come to that. As Megan mentioned, we've been lucky that the numbers have been low in New Hampshire, but it's a significant concern as school boards are looking at their reopening plans. And I heard one superintendent say that it's a question of how much COVID do we want in our schools, because at some point it's going to get in there. And we hope that we can mitigate it the best we can and minimize the risk as best we can. But it's certainly an unanswered question, and the health and safety is always paramount. And school boards and administrators have been working diligently on these plans the last number of months to ensure that the safety of our students and our staff comes first.
All right, Mr. Christina and Ms. Tuttle, we thank you for your efforts, and we'll check back in with you as this develops over the coming months.
Thank you, Adam.